guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name's Sarah. I make videos every single week here on YouTube talking about my acne journey and how I managed to get my skin from this to this. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, if you're also trying to clear your skin, then please hit the subscribe button below, because like I said, I make videos every single week and it's all content related to making sure you can have the complexion, the skin that you've always wanted. So today's video I am super excited about, because I've been talking about making this for a little while now, and actually it's one of the videos I'm most excited about because I saw the most improvements in my skin from using this technique. So today's video is about microneedling or dermarolling. So I'm going to talk you through everything that I learned whilst I was dermarolling for my acne scars and what I would recommend doing yourself. So if you're also struggling with acne scars, if you've managed to clear your acne up now and you're left with kind of the sort of shallow pitted scarring on your skin, then definitely watch this video, because I can talk you through how I've managed to get my skin from shallow pitted scars to what is basically a smooth texture now on my skin, something I honestly never thought would be possible, and I'm so grateful I found this method because it's completely changed my outlook on my skin, and I feel so much more confident just going out without makeup on, not having to worry about what people think of my skin. So yeah, if this sounds like it's something that you can also relate to, then please carry on watching this video because I'm going to get straight into it. Firstly, I'd just like to say, if I keep glancing down, it's simply because I've made a ton of notes on this and I'm obviously going to just keep referring to them. So just a little disclaimer, I am absolutely terrified of needles. To the point where when I was a kid, I actually had a numbing gel applied to my arm before I had to have a blood test, and even the numbing gel made me faint. So every single piercing, every single injection I've ever had, I fainted. Absolutely terrified. So if I've managed to do this for my skin, then I'm pretty sure most people can. So that also shows you the kind of dedication I had to really getting rid of my acne scars. I 100% wanted to get rid of them, and I wanted to have the perfect smooth skin that I'd always dreamed about. And I'm really grateful to say that I really think this method has helped to the point where I don't even notice my acne scars anymore. I'm sure they are there somewhat, so I feel like you could probably never completely get rid of them, but honestly, to the naked eye, you can't really see them, and I don't notice them, and I'm my biggest critic. So also, I thought it was best to describe the kind of acne scars that I had, because quite honestly, you can take photos of acne scars and they're just going to look different in different lights, and I found it really frustrating when I was researching how to get rid of acne scars, sort of before and after photos, because you really can't tell unless you're in front of somebody in real life in the same lighting conditions. It's just really hard to measure whether something's worked or not. So to describe the sort of acne scars I had what I would say shallow pitted rolling scars, and I mostly had them around here on my sort of chin here, maybe not in the middle of my chin, but sort of to the sides of my chin, kind of along my jawlines, although this wasn't so bad here, and definitely on my cheeks. So this area in particular on my left cheek was really scarred, and I'd say just sort of around the corners of my mouth here, I also found that there was quite a bit of scarring there. They're the places that I was really bothered about and would upset me the most. That's where I had, you know, the most concentrated amount of deep cystic acne. So in terms of the depth of my acne scars, if 10 was the deepest acne scar you could find and 0 being completely flat, clear skin, then I would have said my acne scars were at a 4 to a 5. Yeah, probably more along the 5 realistically, and they really bothered me to the point where I'd look in the mirror and that's the first thing I would see. That's all I thought people could see on my skin as well, and so obviously I was really desperate to clear this up. I didn't suffer with box scars or ice pick scars. So ice pick scars are the ones that almost look like really large pores. It's almost like a ice pick, as the name would suggest, as being sort of chipped away at your skin, and then the box scars are much more kind of defined edges. I would say mine were rolling scars, so they were quite soft around the edges, but definitely quite a few of them next to each other. So when I first started to do my research, much like many of you are probably doing now, I got really disheartened because I thought there's just no way I'm going to be able to clear this up. I felt really disappointed. All of the evidence sort of showed that there are definitely ways to clear this up, but it took a lot of time, commitment, and you're really going to have to do a combined method of 2 or 3 of these things, which I completely stand by. I think if you're just going to do one thing for your scars, it probably isn't going to work out. But if you do a combined treatment where you're including things like dermarolling, but you're also using topical retinols, I feel like that's going to have much better results than just doing one thing on its own. So now I'm going to talk you through the protocol I used to heal my acne scars. So my skin at this point was pretty much clear. I had a couple of odd spots, but yeah, for the most part, I'd cleared my cystic acne and I was just left with the scarring. So the first thing I did was obviously watch a ton of YouTube videos on how to do this. However, I did want a bit more kind of professional opinion on this. So I downloaded a set of instructions online from a particular website that obviously specialised in this. And the website that I decided to use was called OwnDoc. I think it's called, dermaroller.owndoc.com, and that's the website that I use to download the instructions from. I had previously gone to have a look at doing this professionally by kind of using an esthetician, but I'd also looked at dermatologists that did this, but it was super expensive and I had already spent a ton of money on a laser treatment to remove my red marks. So I was really hesitant to then also do this with somebody who was charging almost about £500 a session. So decided definitely the best bet for me was to do this at home. I felt like I could do it, and there was enough research there to say that this worked doing it from home just as much as it does doing it professionally. However, that being said, please also look into doing this professionally yourself first, because honestly, there are quite a few instructions here, and if you're not confident about doing this on your own skin, then I would definitely seek professional help. So once I downloaded the instructions and had a read through, I then obviously ordered the correct equipment that I felt was suitable for my type of scarring. Lots of places have said not to use needles this long, so please do your own research, because I honestly don't want to be responsible for anyone damaging their skin. However, this is what I felt was appropriate for my skin. This is the risk that I took to myself, and it's paid off. But I really want to reiterate that I'm not a professional. I don't do this for a living. This is purely what I did in my own skin, and really you should do the research yourself to determine what needle length is suitable to be using at home for you. So then once I'd ordered my Dermaroller, I also realised that a Dermapen was also really suitable for the type of acne scars that I had, and I ordered them from the same website, owndoc.com, and here's how they arrived in this tube. And then here's my Dermaroller and my Dermapen. These are the two instruments which look like torture weapons. Let me just take the lids off. They look terrifying. However, these are miracle workers when it comes to acne scars. Honestly, I am so grateful that I discovered this method, because it really has changed my skin. So the needle length that I went with was 1.5 millimeters, and I'm completely aware there's going to be lots of comments to say that that's dangerous to do at home. However, my skin looks great. This worked for me. Did it hurt? Yes, it definitely hurt. However, that's the sort of length that I would go to clear my acne scars. The emotional pain that I was in from having really bad acne, and also the acne scars that were left over from it, were far worse than doing this once a month on my own skin. Like the instructions told me, I dermaneedled once a month, and I did this on a Sunday afternoon so that I knew I had, a full day really to recover before I got up on Monday morning to go to work. You really do need recovery time for this. I wouldn't say you need a full day, but I would really recommend not applying anything else, no makeup, nothing, for sort of 12 to 24 hours after you've dermarolled or dermapened. So that's why I chose to do this on a Sunday, and like the instructions said, you really can only do this once a month if your needle length is 1.5 or more. So on the week leading up to dermarolling, I would use a vitamin C serum, and I actually made this myself with the help of these instructions online, where you bought the vitamin C kind of powder or solution, and you mix this with water, shook it in a bottle, kept it in the fridge to keep it fresh, and I would spray this on my skin every single evening for the week leading up to dermarolling. So when Sunday arrived, I got down to business. So like I said, this really hurt, and I know that there's lots of places that would recommend using a numbing gel. I had thought about using one, but quite honestly, I just thought I would just go ahead with this, and if it hurts, it hurts. But I think I would much rather know that it was hurting too much and know when to stop than to use numbing gel and potentially feel like I was just going overboard with it. So before you get started with your roller or your Dermapen, you do need to soak them in some sort of surgical spirit, whether that be rubbing alcohol or whatever you have available to you. And you need to soak these for a little while. So I used to do this for sort of half an hour before I then started to roll. And while they're soaking, you can then start prepping your face. So I would usually do this by cleansing my face thoroughly, using a toner, using everything to get every trace of makeup off. And then I would also make sure I then applied the vitamin C serum again. So then it was time to start rolling. I would always use the Dermaroller first. Now, I know that there's mixed opinions about whether you should Dermaroll or Dermastamp, but I thought, according to these instructions, both was best for my kind of scarring. A lot of people say that Dermarollers don't work as well, because instead of just being a straight needle going in and out of your skin, they actually roll in and then roll out, so they can cause slightly more damage to your skin. However, I think actually that kind of damage is needed to kind of break away the kind of bonds that create scars, and actually sort of break everything up so that more collagen can grow underneath it and you can have a more even sort of skin level at the end of your treatment. So So I decided to do both. I think both are beneficial, and the Dermaroller was where I began. So yeah, I would roll this across my skin. I'd make sure that when I was rolling, I would then pull up before I then rolled backwards. So I didn't want to break up my skin too much or cause too much damage. So I'd probably do this maybe about sort of 10 times on each side of my face. And then I'd really kind of concentrate around sort of the areas that I said had most scarring, which was around my mouth and my cheeks. And I actually wouldn't derma roll any other area of my face because one, it really hurt, and two, I felt like if I was going to have this sort of scarring, I wanted to concentrate fully on that whilst I had the derma roller, rather than looking at like my nose, my forehead, which personally I didn't think needed it. It's also really important when you are rolling and derma stamping that you pull the skin tight. So instead of just rolling as you are, you need to make sure the area is as flat as possible so that you can kind of penetrate all parts of the skin really equally. So next I would go in with the Dermapen. Again, this is a 1.5mm needle, and I would use this mostly on just the really deep scarring that I had. So again, I would look at specific scars and really target them rather than just doing kind of all over my cheeks and all over my chin. I found this a lot less painful, I'll be honest. The Dermaroller hurt a lot more. The Dermapen I could manage, and you know, I feel like maybe it's because it isn't rolling around into your skin. But yeah, for some reason I found this a lot less painful. So each scar I would probably hit about 10 times and there would be bleeding. So just to pre-warn you, yeah, this isn't going to be great if you're slightly squeamish or you don't like blood, because your face is going to bleed. I think it's actually named the vampire facial. So yeah, it really does look like it hurts as much as it does. So once I was done rolling and stamping, I would then just really lightly wash my face with Cetaphil, so a really light cleanser. And once I'd done that, I would use a completely fresh, clean towel to pat my skin dry. And then from there, I would then start to apply things like serums and balms, because it's really important that you don't let your skin dry out, because otherwise you will peel. So the first one I used, which was also recommended by the same website, was this copper peptide anti-aging serum. So I think it's widely known that copper peptides are great for anti-aging because they really help build collagen, so it makes sense that this would also help in terms of rebuilding the structure of your skin for acne scars. So they usually help stimulate collagen by having a rapid skin turnover, which is exactly what you want when you're trying to fix acne scars. Next up, I would then make sure my skin was really taken care of, and I used an ointment. So the ointment that I decided to put on my skin was Infadolan. And this actually creates kind of a barrier to your skin, but it's really there for protection. So I would apply this really thin amount across the places where I dermarolled and let that sit for the rest of the day. So Infadolan is made up of vitamin A and vitamin D, both really important for the skin turnover and the skin health. So this is the perfect ointment to apply once you finish dermaneedling. So yeah, then I would leave that and wake up the next day. I'd wash my face, I'd apply a really good moisturizer, as I said, to make sure I don't peel, and then I'd apply my makeup and go to work. I know lots of places said not to apply makeup for 24 hours after. However, I had no problem with this. I would just make sure that the makeup I was using was a really light mineral foundation, and I would also make sure that there was a barrier, which was moisturizer, between that and the makeup. But otherwise I was good to go. So there's another part to this, and that is dermaneedling on its own might not work as well as you want it to without a little bit of help from something turning over your skin at a very fast rate. And I know this because when speaking to my dermatologist about other options for my acne scars, she was very clear to say that you won't see the results you want without some sort of retinol, some sort of vitamin A that's going to turn your skin over at a fast rate. So shortly after this, I then decided to go on Roaccutane, which was not entirely for my acne, because at this point I had cleared my skin up, but I wanted to come off the pill again, and I knew the minute I came off the pill, my acne would return. So I almost wanted to, you know, be foolproof, make sure that the acne didn't return, do everything I could in my power to make sure that I was clearing up my scars and stopping acne from returning. So that kind of goes hand in hand with my dermarolling experience, because before I started Roaccutane, I had been doing this for 8 months, and I'd started to really see a difference in my skin. However, nothing like it did when I started Accutane. So after about 2 or 3 months in, I started to notice my scars were really less visible, to the point where I thought my skin had slightly swelled, and I thought that was just like a side effect of the drug. But no, this continued to get better and better till I stopped taking Accutane. I'm here 9 months later and my skin still has had the same results. My acne scars have not returned. So having thought about that, and having thought about how much the dermatologist insisted that I use a retinol with it, I would really recommend doing that, because a A retinol is going to be the same sort of process as taking Accutane, because they're both derivatives of vitamin A and they will both do the same job in terms of turning over your skin. I know this can be highly irritating for your skin, but honestly, it will be so worth it if you're doing this at the same time as Dermarolling. I know so many people that have had really great results by looking online. So if you're able to do that, if you're able to get access to that medication, then 100% give it a go. So in terms of my results, I will be completely honest and say my skin is still not perfect. I'm fairly certain it will never be perfect. But in terms of the severity of my acne scars, if I said that they were a 4 or a 5 before I started Dermarolling and taking Accutane, I would say they're now a 1. Okay, so honestly, I don't notice them. I know in some lights, if I kind of angle my skin at a certain light, I can see a slight textural problem, but not to the point where there's actual real pitted scars in my skin. They don't exist anymore, and that is solely down to rolling, so Dermarolling, Dermaneedling, and then also taking, Accutane or using, vitamin A to turn my skin over. It has been a miracle for my skin, and I can't recommend it enough. I really can't. I would like to add though, if you are thinking about going on raw Accutane, I would definitely make sure you dermaroll before, because if you start dermarolling after, it can cause problems for your skin, because your skin can be a lot thinner when you come off the drug, and it's really not recommended for about 6 to 9 months to actually dermaroll after, which is why I actually haven't started dermarolling again since. One, I don't feel like I need it, and quite honestly, going through that is quite painful, and if I don't feel like my skin needs it, I probably won't be doing it. But second of all, I shouldn't be doing that if I've come off Accutane 9 months ago. I probably will start dermarolling in the future because of how good the results were, and hopefully, I'm nearly 30, so I think dermarolling might be really good for other elements, other skin problems like fine lines and wrinkles. But in terms of my acne scars, I'm really happy to say that they don't bother me at all now. I can barely see them, and this has made such a difference to my skin. Okay guys, that is everything from me. Please leave me a comment down below if you have any questions about this. I'd be more than happy to help. I know that feeling of desperately searching for an answer to try and get rid of acne scars. I remember that feeling so well. It was complete desperation, and that's why I took to the internet to try and find a solution to this. So like I said, really happy to answer anyone's questions down below. Please subscribe if you like this video, because I make a lot of content like this all about acne scarring, and what I do day to day to maintain clear skin. Please give this video a like if you found it helpful, and I will see you in my next one.